Hello everybody and welcome back on BallinCraig Estate here with Overcourt Gaming. We're picking right up on part 2 of the busy day, where the young man is carrying on with lots of work. And as the young man is finally cutting the last strip on this field uninterrupted, he's still finding, sure there's the pressure of work, but he's also quite curious as to see how Helen's getting on. So he just stops and takes a quick peek, wondering if she maybe needs a hand down on the farm. But just as he sees she's actually just finished closing up the trailer and pulling out from the farm. As the young man pulls up and hooks the old tether onto the Deutz tractor, it's almost like memories from his younger days here on the farm starts flooding back. This is the type of work he remembered. Usually, by the time he got involved, his uncle would have been doing the last bit of tedding and lining, and he would usually mainly help out with the baling work, which was grueling work back then. But right now, he needs to start getting started on getting this grass spread out. Fresh grass and drying is fantastic as the young man is working, but as he comes around the corner for the second time today, he finds her standing in his field. So, is everything okay with the sheep? Oh yes, she says. I brought the baler. You'll be wanting to come and see this. And without much pausing, they make their way down the hill. Ta-da! Goes Helen. I know it's a bit old, but you know, we can basically we can use it for free. Mike was very friendly, and we reminisced a bit about the old school days, and when I explained the situation, yeah, he was happy to lend this to you for making your hay. The young man looks absolutely astounded. This is amazing, he says. This is just the kind of stuff that I was looking for. I mean, how much is it gonna cost? Helen laughs. Oh, like I said, Mike and I go back a bit. And he's agreed to lend it to us for free. We'll have to pay for the baling twine, but I reckon something in the region of £50 to £100, and we'll be good for all the hay. I can't thank you enough, says the young man, kind of overwhelmed by a whole string of emotions all of a sudden. Helen laughs and comes over. The only thing is, the tractor is just alone and I gotta take it back, so we gotta use your equipment. The young man nods. Yeah, of course, that's not gonna be a problem at all. I'm pretty sure the Massey will be able to pull this. But, I mean, thank you so much. I can assure you that I'm gonna look after your sheep really, really well. I see they've all made it into the paddock now. Helen smiles. Oh, don't you worry, I'm gonna be back checking on them on a regular basis. But as Trevor said, it sounded like maybe you could do with a hand for some of this hay work here. Young man nods. Yeah, I do have an awful lot to get through, but I don't know what do you think you could do? Helen grins. I may have left it out before, but I actually helped out your uncle here on the farm for a couple of summers after you stopped coming. The young man feels a little taken aback. Oh, I didn't know about that. So you probably know this place as well as I. Helen smiles. Don't worry about it. You couldn't know. Listen, why don't I go up and finish off the tedding in the field after I take this tractor back, and you could get started on mowing the next one, and maybe we can give this baler a shot this afternoon. That would be amazing, says the young man. But I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. I can't pay you very much. Hey, you're paying by looking after my sheep and feeding them with grass and water and everything, so that's gonna work out just fine. Listen, says Helen, looking quite straight into the young man's eyes. When is the last time you were actually off this farm for any period of time? The young man suddenly feels very flustered. I've been down to the village. Like, it's only yesterday that I was down speaking to Mike. I mean real company, not Mike. He just grumbles all the time. Listen, here's the deal. I'm gonna help you out all day today, all day tomorrow if you want, but on one condition. Tonight, we go out for a meal. My treat, since you're looking after my sheep. The young man suddenly blushes quite hard, but at the same time he can't really turn down this. First of all, it actually feels pretty good to have somebody more his own age on the farm, and he could really use the help, and actually he would actually really quite like to go for dinner. Yeah, okay, he says. That sounds great. So I'll go and get a tractor so I can get the header shifted out of the field. Right, says Helen. I'll just head up and carry on with the tedding. It doesn't look like there's an awful lot left to do. And with that, she simply strides off quite confidently. Obviously, she knows the place a bit better than the young man knew. On her way, she makes sure the gate for the newly arrived sheep is closed up before she heads up and ready to start picking up some work. The young man is admiring the baler for a little bit longer. Sure, it might be a bit old and have a few rusty patches, but oh man, this has just changed his whole outlook on things, and well, he needs to get up and get that header moved. He's actually feeling really quite happy. And also a little bit nervous because he's just been invited like out for dinner, and like now he's not sure, is this a date? She seems to know her way around a farm, that much he knows, but he's feeling a little confused as he sees that he's already made really good headway on the field as he heads in to pick up the header trailer. Young man almost can't help but steal a glance over towards the young woman as he's struggling a bit with the header. He's got to head down to the bottom field where the silage bales got cleared out of earlier, and there's a few tight gates between him and his next area of work. Young man's heading back up the field to pick up the header so he can get on with the next field. He's wondering how it's going up here, but as he comes around the corner, Helen's sitting on the tractor and she shouts at him, "I'm done up here." Young man can't help but feel a little impressed. "Wow, that's great," he says. "Yeah, I'm gonna park the tractor down at the farm and I'll take the borrowed tractor back, and we should be able to try out that baler soon." "Okay," says the young man. "I'll get the other field cut in the meantime." And he quickly hops in because now it's not long until he gets to try out the new toy on the farm. There's just one more field to get cut before that, and that can only go too slow. And as the young woman drives down, she can just about glimpse the young man working away on getting the field cut. She smiles to herself. After a good while of cutting, the young man suddenly sees the green Deutz tractor back in the field. Helen seems to have come back fairly quickly to the farm, and without any prompting, she started telling his rows on the field, and he can't help but smile inside the cab. Things do sure get done quicker when there's two on the farm. And before long, the two young people have completed another field. There's still plenty of grass to be cut, including the 2 extra fields over behind the church and up from there. Needs to be done pretty soon, since they need them for the village event that's going to be going on. So the young man signals to Helen that he's going to get down and find the other Massey Ferguson and see if that will pull the new baler. The young man comes driving out when Helen waves at him to stop. "We can't be doing this with twin tires, son," she says. The young man, "Yeah, but we pretty much got those on permanently." With a determined look, she simply slaps on one of the tires. "Well, reverse it up. We'll get them dismounted. I'm sure with 2 people we can get this done pretty quickly." The young man's feeling a little bit bewildered. It's almost like he's losing a little bit of control over his own farm here, but he obliges and works his way tightly in towards the workshop. And before long, 2 of them working together manage to get the twin set of tires off, which will make maneuvering the Massey around up in the field a little bit easier. The young man reverses up to the baler with a little bit of guidance from Helen to get it lined up, getting familiar with the new equipment. This young man pulls out, he jumps out of the tractor for a moment. "Why don't you just grab a cup of coffee? The door's open. Help yourself," he says. "I'm just gonna try a couple of bales maybe," and he grins. "I guess we're pretty dusty, both of us. I would need to wash off before we go for a meal tonight." Helen smiles and nods. "Yeah, same here. You know, I'm actually just gonna head down now, and get washed up, and maybe you can come and pick me up later." Sure," says the young man. That'll be great. How about 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock's fine," says Helen. "You get on with your baling now." The young man doesn't waste any more time, because looking at the clock gives him not an awful lot of time, because he also needs to quickly check on the cows. Trevor's working extra hours to try and catch up on all the time he spent on the farm, in part before the young man arrived, and in part when he was ill as well. So the young man knows that he's got to cover all of the bases here. But with a little bit of fumbling and finagling, he seems to get the right controls sorted out for this baler, and it seems like the dried grass has actually swathed up enough that he can pick it straight up instead of having to line it up, which is a huge time-saving advantage for him. Although the machine is old, it's making bales, and it's making bales that's going to be a lot easier to handle around the farm than small ones. The young man feels like he's riding a high today. The weather's fantastic. 2 fields covered in in a relatively short space of time. And he's going for a meal tonight as well. Things really couldn't be very much better than they are right now in his view. Baling with this machine is an absolute dream for the young man. Might clatter and bang a little bit, but by and large, this is working amazingly. But for the third time today, he's finding somebody standing around in his field, but this time, it isn't a young woman. It's a rather elderly but very smiling Trevor. Alright lad, I don't know how you did it, but it seems you laid your hands on a baler, he grins. Oh yes, laughed the young man. Well, we got Helen to thanks for that. It seems like she can turn Mike's head, and he's basically lent us this baler for the summer. Ah, that's amazing, Trevor grins. This really is, I admit it, this really is gonna make things a lot easier. Well, you've been working hard today, cutting and tending 2 fields. Trevor leans up against the tractor. I suspect you had a bit of help. The young man can't help but smile very broadly. Yeah, I had some help. We got the sheep loaded in, and then Helen helped out by running the tedder. Did you know that she used to help out on the farm? Sure did, lad. Sure did. The young man looks a bit forlorn, and well, I know we got a lot to do. He mumbles, but I kinda promised that we'd go out for a meal tonight. Trevor just grins up at the young man. Well, it's about time you got off this farm for a wee bit. Now, don't get me wrong, there'll be more work to do when you come back from dinner. It won't be straight to bed for you, but seriously, get yourself down and get washed up and take that fine young lady out for a good meal. The young man smiles and hops out and kinda can't help but just shake Trevor's hand, and Trevor grins. Look lad, I'll take over here. You go out for your meal. Maybe there's enough time tonight that we can get them loaded up on the trailer and back on the farm, but if not, it's not the end of the world, but I'll carry on with the baling. You go and have a good time. You've deserved it. So Trevor hops on to our new borrowed acquisition here on BallinCraig estate, and he starts baling up the hay on this first field as the young man eagerly disappears down the hill for the house, get himself in the shower, because he's going out for a meal tonight. And with that, everybody, that's the end of today's episode. Anyway, if you do enjoy the series, please do hit that like and subscribe buttons, and we'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you very much for watching from Overcourt Gaming. See you again soon.